There's a truth most folks don't want to face. You don't really know yourself when life is easy. When everything is going your way, it's easy to smile, easy to say the right things, to stand tall and act strong. But that version of you, the one that shows up when the wind's at your back, isn't the full story. Who you are gets revealed in the dark. When things fall apart. When the noise stops and the silence gets heavy. When you're alone, and everything in you is screaming to give up. That's when your real self walks in. Adversity doesn't knock politely. It barges in unannounced, turning order into chaos. You lose your footing. You lose people. You lose the plans you built so carefully. And then, something happens, something quiet but powerful. You either break, or you bend. And if you bend, if you don't snap under the weight of it all, you begin to realize what you're made of. It's a strange thing, the way hardship strips you down to the essentials. When you've got nothing left to prove, nothing left to hide behind, that's when your choices matter most. You can lie there, broken, waiting for the world to hand you a miracle. Or you can grit your teeth, steady your breath, and get back up, 1 inch at a time. That rise, slow and quiet as it may be, is the beginning of something unshakable. See, most people think strength is loud. They think it's about showing the world how tough you are. But the real strength, the kind that can't be faked, comes when no one's watching. When you drag yourself forward with no promise of reward. When you keep going not because someone's cheering you on, but because somewhere deep inside, you know quitting just isn't an option. Adversity is a mirror. It reflects not who you say you are, but who you really are. It shows you the cracks, sure, but it also shows you the steel beneath. The part of you that doesn't back down. The part that endures. You don't develop that part by reading books or hearing motivational speeches. You find it by living through what should have broken you, and realizing it didn't. There will be moments when everything feels like it's closing in. The losses pile up. People you trusted walk away. Dreams you worked for crumble in your hands. And in those moments, it's natural to feel like you're losing. Like life's already made up its mind about you. But that's the trick of adversity, it wants you to believe the lie that pain is permanent. That failure is final. It isn't. Not if you refuse to let it be. You don't win by avoiding the fight. You win by standing in the middle of it, bruised and bleeding, and saying, I'm still here. That choice, to stay in it, to keep showing up even when everything inside you is tired, that's what separates those who rise from those who stay down. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need to be perfect to make that choice. You just need to be willing. Willing to take the hit and still reach for something better. Because every time you get back up, you teach yourself that you're stronger than you thought. Every step forward, no matter how shaky, is proof that adversity didn't win. You did. Not with fanfare, not with a trophy, but with quiet, stubborn resilience. And that kind of win. That's the kind that changes everything. There's a common belief that winning only counts when someone's watching. That your effort needs to be seen, validated, praised, for it to mean something. But real strength, the kind that lasts, doesn't wait for applause. It doesn't need a crowd. It lives in the quiet, in the unnoticed hours, in the times when you're showing up simply because you refuse to disappear. You will have days where your work goes unseen. Your sacrifices unacknowledged. The late nights, the doubts you wrestle with, the effort you pour into moving forward, all of it might pass without a single word of recognition. And still, you persist. That's the point. That's where you win. Because the applause, it's temporary. It fades. But the discipline to keep showing up, that stays. And the truth is, if you're only driven by external reward, you'll stop the moment it disappears. But if you're driven by purpose, by something deeper, no silence can stop you. No lack of recognition will throw you off course. Persistence is quiet. It's a whisper that says, just one more try. It's not glamorous. No one hands you a medal for waking up and pushing through anxiety, through failure, through fatigue. But every single time you do, you're adding weight to your foundation. And one day, when you finally look back, you'll see that all those unseen efforts were never wasted. They were building you. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to be celebrated to be valid. Most people won't understand the storms you've weathered just to stand where you are. But that's not their fault. It's not their story. It's yours. And it's written not in the moments when the spotlight's on you, but in the ones when you're working alone, doubting yourself, and deciding to keep going anyway. You're not trying to prove anyone wrong. You're not out to impress the world. You're out to become who you know you can be, even if no one else sees it yet. That quiet persistence, that decision to keep building without applause, is what separates dreamers from doers. It's what turns resilience into a way of life. People talk about success like it's a single moment, one big break, one perfect opportunity. But the truth is, success is made of thousands of moments no one ever sees. The ones where you choose not to quit. The ones where you fail and still try again. The ones where everything feels pointless, but you keep going, not because of applause, but because of intention. And yes, there will be moments of loneliness. There will be nights when you wonder if any of it matters. But hear this, you are not losing just because no one sees you. You are not failing just because no one claps. Sometimes, winning looks like walking a quiet road with no one beside you, just faith in your own 2 feet. That kind of journey shapes you in ways no stage ever could. You become patient, steady. You stop chasing approval and start walking in truth. And one day, you look around and realize, you've become something unshakable. Not because of what the world gave you, but because of what you gave yourself when the world gave you nothing. So if you're tired, but still standing, if you're struggling, but still moving, if you're fighting battles no one knows about and refusing to let them break you, that's not losing. That's not weakness. That's how winners are made. Quietly. Persistently. Without fanfare. Sometimes, the mountain looks too high to climb. The weight too heavy to carry. The future too far to reach. In those moments, it's easy to believe that if you can't leap the whole distance in one motion, then maybe it's not worth trying at all. But that's not how you win. That's not how anything real is built. The truth is simple and quiet, small steps carry great power. We live in a world that praises the dramatic. Big wins, big gestures, fast results. But when life knocks you down, when everything feels like it's against you, the only thing that matters is your next step. Not the finish line. Not the whole path. Just the one step you take today. One honest effort. One hard decision. 1 inch forward, even if your legs are shaking. Because small steps, when taken with heart, become unstoppable. They're easy to overlook, even easier to underestimate. But they build momentum. You take one, and then another. At first, nothing feels different. The storm still rages. The doubt still whispers. But slowly, without realizing it, you begin to move. And with each step, you prove to yourself that you're not broken. Not done. Not out of the fight. Progress isn't always obvious. Some days feel like standing still. Some steps are so small, they barely register. But each one matters. Because each one says, I'm still trying. And trying, truly trying in the face of fear, pain, or failure, is a form of victory. You don't have to know how the whole story ends. You don't have to have all the answers. Sometimes, just putting your foot down and saying, not today. I won't quit today, is more powerful than any grand plan. The steps that count the most often come in silence. No crowd. No trophy. Just you, alone with your decision to keep going. To take that walk. Make that call. Face that fear. Get out of bed when it's the last thing you want to do. These moments aren't loud, but they echo in your future. The path to anything meaningful is walked step by step. And the step you take today might be the one that leads to the one that changes everything. But you don't get to that turning point unless you keep moving, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. So don't let the size of your struggle make you believe you need a giant answer. You don't. You just need to move, slow, steady, stubborn. You'll be amazed what happens when you show up for yourself like that. No matter how far you feel from where you want to be, your next step is closer than you think. And if you keep stacking small steps, they become something solid, something lasting. It might not feel like victory at first. It might feel like surviving. Like holding on. Like barely making it. But those are the steps that carry the most weight. Because they're taken in truth. In grit. In pain. And there's something unshakable about that. So don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait until you feel strong or sure. Just take the next step. Even if it's a crawl. Even if it's just not giving up for one more day. That's enough. That's more than enough. Because over time, small steps become strong legs. Strong legs carry steady hearts. And steady hearts, those are the ones that cross finish lines. Strength isn't something you're born with. It's not handed to you, and it doesn't come easy. Real strength, the kind that holds you up when the world pushes you down, is forged in struggle. It's built in the fire, in the tension, in the pressure of moments that threaten to break you. And strangely enough, the hardest times in your life are the ones that shape you the most. We don't become strong by avoiding pain. We become strong by facing it. Walking through it. Letting it hit us, hurt us, humble us, and then choosing to rise anyway. The struggle itself is what gives your strength its roots. Because when everything falls apart and you still find a way to keep going, you're not the same person who started. You've changed. You've toughened. You've deepened. You've grown. The world will test you. That's not a possibility, it's a guarantee. Life has a way of throwing weight on your shoulders when you least expect it. Sometimes it feels unfair. Sometimes it is. But struggle has a purpose, even when it's painful. It reveals what's underneath. It strips away what's shallow and leaves behind what's real. No one grows in comfort. No one builds resilience on the easy days. The strength that lasts is born when you're forced to face what you didn't think you could handle. It's born when you fall hard, and instead of staying down, you gather the pieces and get back up. Not because you're ready, but because you must. Those moments when you feel weak, when you doubt yourself, when you question why everything seems to be working against you, those are the moments that matter. Not because they feel good. Not because they're fair. But because they challenge you to reach for something deeper than talent or motivation. They push you to develop grit, patience, focus. They teach you to carry weight without complaint. To keep moving when everything inside you wants to stop. And it's in that place, past the breaking point, past the fear, past the comfort zone, that strength is formed. Quietly, slowly, deep within you. It won't look like much at first. No fireworks. No clear reward. Just you, breathing through the pain, holding your ground when it would be easier to walk away. That strength becomes your foundation. It becomes the part of you that doesn't panic under pressure. The part of you that stays calm in chaos. The part that whispers, "I've been through worse," when the next storm rolls in. And storms will come. That's not the question. The question is, what will you be made of when they do? You might not notice the change right away. You might go through seasons where it feels like nothing good is happening, nothing is improving. But every struggle, every trial, is doing something invisible but essential. It's toughening your spirit, training your resolve, giving you the kind of strength that can't be bought, taught, or imitated. You don't earn that kind of power from winning. You earn it from enduring. From refusing to quit. From showing up even when the road ahead looks uncertain. The more you survive, the more you learn, not just about the world, but about yourself. You start to see that you can handle more than you ever imagined. That your breaking point wasn't the end, just a beginning. And that realization changes everything. Because once you know your strength, truly know it, the world can't take that away. It becomes part of who you are. Not something you wear for others to see, but something you carry inside. Quiet, steady, unshakable. So don't be afraid of the struggle. Don't curse the weight. Let it teach you. Let it build you. Because with every hard day, every setback, every silent battle, you are becoming someone stronger than the pain you're facing. Fear is something we all know. It creeps in when things fall apart, when the future is uncertain, when the ground beneath us starts to shift. It shows up in the quiet hours, in the what-ifs, in the doubts that cling to every thought. And for most people, fear feels like the end of the road. A signal to stop, to retreat, to play it safe. But the truth is, fear isn't your enemy. It's a part of the process. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward in spite of it. There's a kind of bravery that doesn't make a scene. It doesn't shout. It doesn't wave a flag. It doesn't always feel like bravery at all. Sometimes it feels like shaking hands. Like a pounding heart. Like whispering, "I don't know if I can do this," and doing it anyway. That's courage. That's what winning really looks like when the world is against you. You might be tempted to wait until the fear goes away before you make your move. But it won't. Not all the way. Not if you're doing something that matters. Growth demands risk. Risk demands fear. And fear demands a response. The question isn't whether you're afraid. The question is whether you'll listen to fear, or move through it. Courage is fear in motion. It's standing in the middle of everything that scares you and refusing to back down. It's taking a single step when your legs feel heavy. It's choosing action over paralysis, even when your heart is racing and your mind is filled with doubt. That's where strength lives, in the tension between fear and the decision to keep going. There are moments in life that will test you not because you're unprepared, but because you're being called to rise. Fear will be there, whispering worst case scenarios, reminding you of every past failure. It will ask you, what if you fall? And you'll need to answer, not with perfect certainty, but with quiet resolve, then I'll get back up. That's not arrogance. That's courage. And it doesn't require a crowd, or confidence, or even clarity. It just requires you to take that next step with fear at your side. Not behind you, not gone, but beside you. You walk anyway. You speak anyway. You fight anyway. And in doing so, you remind fear that it doesn't control you. People often mistake the brave for the fearless. But the truth is, the brave are the ones who've learned how to live with fear and keep moving forward. They've stopped trying to outrun it. Instead, they've learned to carry it with grace. Like a weight in their pack, not light, but not heavy enough to stop them. That's the shift that changes everything. When you stop waiting to feel ready, and start acting anyway. When you stop asking fear for permission. You learn to speak even when your voice shakes. To walk into the unknown even when your hands tremble. To show up, scared and unsure, but determined. That's what makes you unbreakable. Because the more you move through fear, the less power it holds. The more you realize it's not a wall, but a veil. Something that looks solid until you walk straight through it. And once you do, once you prove to yourself that you can, the next time gets easier. Not because the fear disappears, but because you've changed. You become someone who knows the storm but walks anyway. Someone who hears the doubt but keeps building. Someone who feels the fear and still chooses forward. And that choice, made over and over again, is how you win, not in a burst of glory, but in the quiet, steady defiance of fear. There comes a moment, in every hard journey, when something inside you snaps, not in defeat, but in defiance. You've been pushed, pulled, cornered, doubted, hurt, and overlooked. And after enough of that, you stop waiting for the tide to turn. You stop hoping for fairness. You stop needing permission. Something inside rises, not with noise, but with fire, and it says, I won't be broken. That moment, right there, is the beginning of victory. Because defiance isn't about being loud. It isn't about anger or rebellion for its own sake. It's about refusing to surrender your spirit when everything around you tries to wear it down. It's about saying, you can take my comfort. You can take my certainty. But you will not take my will. Life will test you, and when it does, it's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just the slow grind of disappointments. The quiet erosion of hope. One closed door after another. One failure followed by silence. And in that silence, it's easy to believe you're alone. Easy to believe you've lost. But that's when defiance is most powerful, not as a roar, but as a whisper, I'm still here. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the strongest. You just have to refuse to quit. Refuse to bow. Refuse to believe that your struggle means you're finished. That kind of refusal, grounded, focused, unapologetic, is what separates those who survive from those who rise. Because survival is staying alive. Victory is choosing to live. And there's a world of difference between the two. Sometimes the world will try to convince you that you should give up. That you should settle. That the weight you're carrying is too much. It will try to shrink your belief in yourself, bit by bit. That's when you lean into the fight. That's when you plant your feet, lift your chin, and say, not today. Not like this. This defiance, it's not reckless. It's not blind. It's rooted in something deep, a belief that you are more than your circumstances. That even if you've lost time, lost people, lost pieces of yourself along the way, there's still something worth fighting for. That belief can't be taught. It can only be earned, through struggle, through pain, through persistence. And when you've earned it, no one can take it from you. You don't have to shout to be defiant. Some of the most powerful acts of defiance are quiet. Getting back up after you've been knocked down for the 10th time. Showing kindness when life has only shown you cruelty. Choosing hope when you have every reason not to. These are not small things. These are the makings of an unshakable soul. Victory doesn't always look like a finish line. Sometimes it looks like a person who refused to be shaped by what tried to destroy them. A person who said, yes, I've been through it, but I'm not done. That kind of grit is built, not born. And it doesn't show up all at once. It grows in you. Slowly. Step by step. Decision by decision. And the moment you choose to stand, truly stand, in the face of everything trying to hold you down, that's when you stop surviving and start rising. That's when your pain stops defining you and starts refining you. That's when you become something the world can't easily break. Because defiance is not about shouting back at the world. It's about refusing to let the world define what you can or can't be. It's about pushing forward with a quiet flame that says, "You underestimated me. So let the world doubt you. Let the odds stack up. Let the nights get long. Just don't let it change who you are. Don't let it take your fight. Because that fight, that spark of defiance, is the seed of your victory." So if you find yourself in the dark, outnumbered, overlooked, exhausted, remember this: you don't have to conquer the world all at once. You just have to keep going. One breath, one step, one quiet act of courage at a time. Because strength is built in struggle, victory is shaped in silence, and the greatest triumph is simply refusing to give up when everything tells you to. You are not weak for feeling fear. You are not failing if it hurts. You are human. And still, you rise. With persistence. With purpose. With defiance. That's how you win. Quietly. Powerfully. Unshakably. Good luck on your journey. Wherever it takes you, go with strength, and never forget what you're capable of. Thank you for listening. Keep going. You've got this.